You have to be a very rich, very likely a white male human being to win an election in the city. And to me, it's a joke.
Well, that statement raises an interesting question. Does Toronto City Council reflect the diversity of this multicultural city? And the answer is no. And I have to say, as a political reporter, I have sat in council for many years, wondering why.
The Eastman area that you look at, the corner, is the area where...
With an election coming up in October when we could see 9 new councillors elected to City Hall, it made me wonder if it will lead to more diversity. And we crunched the numbers using Stats Canada's definition of visible minority to see how diverse politicians are in other cities as well as provincially and federally. So here's what we found. In Toronto, 51% of the population belong to a visible minority group, yet 90% of councillors are white. In Vancouver, 54% are visible minority, 80% of council is white, while in Montreal, 31% are visible minority and 94% of council is white. Across Ontario, 28% of the population belongs to a visible minority and 82% of MPPs are white. Now in Canada, the overall multicultural population is 19%, with 12% visible minority as MPs. The majority of them are Liberal MPs. So back to City Council. Why are we so diverse in this city and yet it is not reflected? Well, I spoke with writer Andre Dumise, who also once ran for City Council, and he says that the problem is in how our election process is structured, and he blames the lack of ranked balloting and the lack of term limits.
What a ranked balloting system basically means is that you can't win an election with a minority of the vote. The residents choose a first choice, and then a second choice, and a third choice, and they keep on voting until they find somebody that they can all agree on. And that ranked balloting system, that was, even exploring the idea, was shot down in council. So unfortunately, you have people that are incumbents that have an interest in remaining in City Council, don't have any term limits, they don't want to leave City Council, and they vote down every possible measure to make the city more democratic. And when you have people with incredible ideas that have grown up in their communities and want to lead, it's almost impossible. The structure of our electoral system is set up so that candidates from local communities with great ideas are going to fail.
Dumise also says cost is a major factor. A potential candidate would need tens of thousands of dollars of money to run. Now, Mayor John Tory agrees that there is a definite lack of diversity at City Council, but he says he has hope things will change.
I will say I agree with those who say that our council is not representative. You need only look at it to determine that, and that's unfortunate, but that is a decision made by the people based on the choices they have in front of them. I'm optimistic that a lot of that is happening. I'm optimistic that as demographics in the city continue to change and you have all the people from the diverse communities getting older and more likely to be in a position to run for public office in the context of their family life, their job security, their financial security, that you will see a more representative council.
We got a whole lot of tweets in response to this story. Many of them were quite angry. I'll give you a sample. I will say I agree with those who say our council is not representative. You need only to have to look at it to determine I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. Good old Fox News Canada comes in with a race bait headline. Another saying, this is not news, we are all Canadian. And one more tweet saying, you need to conduct a thorough survey of the ethnic composition of every electoral candidate before drawing any assumptions. I would rather have strong, visible minority candidates than many of the dimwits currently on council. Don't blame the voters. Now, we also took a look and crunched the numbers of some major cities in the U.S. to see where if they reflect diversity. If you want to look at those numbers, go to our website, citynews.ca.